What is going on, guys? In this video, it's going to be on the shorter side compared to the hour-long ones I put out. And this one, I just want to talk about PvP a little bit. I heard some encounters, some interesting encounters and propositions, and I'll get to that a little later. First, I kind of want to set things up and just talk about some of the basics first. But I do want to start out by saying this isn't going to be me ranting about PvP. I don't think that you'll ever really hear me ranting about PvP. I am of the strong belief that if you step foot in a PvP zone, you should expect PvP. Now, especially pre-THJ situation shutdown, pre that, where Quarm went on a 6-week hiatus or whatever, there was almost no threat to being PvP'd in PvP zones. Now, post-shutdown, there is more of a threat, but I know people got used to, kind of just going in there and free farming and stuff like that. So I know there is that, but I don't think anybody should expect to go in there and not PvP, and then when they PvP, they get mad or upset about it. That you should know what you signed up for. You should know that by clicking on that book and typing in hashtag # toggle PvP. That's what you're signing up for, and that's it. So anyways, with that out of the way, behind me, you're gonna see some Wakening lands B-roll from me farming on the Beast Lord in the Wakening lands in the Geo Cave. And the reason that's the B-roll for today is because it's kind of the subject matter. So in the previous video that I had put out, I was farming the Geo Cave on the Beast Lord, and I was kind of showing the camp and just chatting and showing some of the money that you could be made there. It's no secret. The Geo camp the cave was a huge camp back in the day. It's a huge camp. It's been a huge camp on all the P99 variations. And it's like perma-camped over there. And it's a huge camp on Quarm, and highly camped on Quarm as well. It's no secret. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know this, pun intended. If not, take a look at my last video and you can kind of get an idea of the cash to be made there. So with that being said, there are, on Project Quarm, as most of you know, there are PvP versions of zones. So any zone that has the PvP book, you can toggle PvP on. You can go in there and you're going to get double loot, and previously bonus XP. You get the 1.6 modifier. In the last couple of weeks or whatever, maybe a week, I don't know, I don't remember whenever this video goes out, but recently they've modified the XP to affect both the PvP and PvE versions. So basically, if a zone has a PvP version, then that PvP XP bonus is applied to both the PvE and the PvP version. It's a mouthful, but previously you only got the bonus if you're in the PvP version, but now you get the XP bonus in both. The PvP version has double loot. They took that away for about 2 days. They brought it back. If your zone does not have a PvP version at all, you're not getting the PvP bonus. There's other bonuses like being in a Luckland zone or the typical Zems of the game, all that. That's separate. PvP bonus, I believe the XP bonus is the highest, or the hot zone. So that kind of trumps most Zems and stuff like that, but anyways. So right now, currently, the best, or the only reason to go into a PvP zone besides PvP, if you're just going in for monetary benefits, XP is not going to really serve you any well, unless you can find a camp that's open. Sometimes there's less people in the PvP zone because of the risk of PvP. Therefore, a camp may be more open, and we'll kind of get into that right now. But really, the main reason is going to be double loot. So, some zones that matters less. But the Wakening lands As you can see in the B-roll, we're looting all kinds of nice goodies, big high vendor value gems and jewelry and whatnot. And I will say this, as a Beast Lord, I'm not the best at farming these. The Beast Lord's fairly new to level 60. It's been, I don't know, 2 weeks or so. He's been level 60, and so I'm working on getting gear and stuff. And I'm still working on getting more AAs so that I could be stronger. And my Necro would do much better. But on the Beast Lord, when I'm farming there, as long as there's spawns available, I would say I can get about 2K an hour, as long as I'm not like just constantly looking for mobs. Now, if it's busy, which oftentimes it is, that number is going to drop. Typically, if I go there, I slash the zone, and I can notice that there is typically like, 10 plus people in the zone at most times. Granted, if you're there overnight or in the middle of the night, like USA time, any of the time zones over here, you're probably doing pretty well. But during the day, during the morning, the afternoon, or the evening, it's pretty camped. But twilight hours, you're probably pretty okay. Anyways, so then one would think to themselves, okay, so why don't you go to the PvP one, because it's double loot, and you should double that. If you're getting 2K an hour in PvE, then you'll get 4K an hour in PvP. True. And like I said earlier, I think a lot of people are used to going into, especially pre-THJ drama shutdown, pre that, people got really used to, like, to be honest, I have videos on my channel where I'm leveling a monk in Kunark PvP zones, and there's nobody in them. I am literally, and in those videos, I'm slashing the zone every so often and just showing that I'm the only person in that zone, period. Over and over and over. There's just nobody in the zone. Occasionally, like in PvP Karner's Castle, I was doing PvP Karner's then, a little later, I was doing that a lot. I think I was doing that on the Necro maybe even. And occasionally I'd see someone come in. Maybe it started to pick up steam, but after the shutdown, a little hiatus, they started adding more bonuses and stuff like that. The double loot was available back then, but they started adding some bonuses and stuff. And the Rise of Zek had moved over. They're now just called Zek, but they moved over from P99 Red, which, as you probably know, is the PvP server for P99. So they moved over, they power leveled a bunch of characters, and they jumped straight into the deep end right away. They got caught up and ready to go straight away. And so they started dominating PvP zones. And by dominating, I don't know, they just started being present in PvP zones, because previously nobody cared to PvP. If you guys all remember, you could pretty much free farm in PvP zones because either nobody was there or people were there, but you kind of did the thing where you're like, hey, we're good. All right, you do your thing, I'll do my thing, and we'll all reap the benefits, and we don't got to like waste each other's time. Let's just chill. That was kind of the general consensus. Now, with that being said, every once in a while you did see PvP going on. There was like one dude in the Discord who would troll on people and post a bunch of pictures of their corpses and stuff like that. That was pretty funny. I did some groups with the boys. We did Sebulus PvP, and that was pretty good. There was some PvP going on in there while we were there, but we just didn't encounter it. It's a big zone. There's lots of mobs and stuff. We never encountered it, but we were also a full group or something like that, so you're less likely to get messed with if you're a full group. Anyways, the point is, now there's a bigger risk when you're in there getting your reward, your PvP rewards. There's a bigger risk because you have Zek in there now, and they're looking to kill you. They're a PvP guild, after all. So now you can't just go in there and chill. So that's one thing. Another thing is, if you're in a zone where there's desired camps, we'll use an example. Like currently, if you the easiest example, you could use like hill giants, but that's not really a camp. Let's use like frost giants outside of permafrost. Back in the day, I don't know how that is on Quarm, but like on P99, there's always somebody there. There's always somebody sitting there, and like a druid or something root rotting or whatever it is. and they're getting their little cash and doing whatever. So, you know, you show up and you see somebody there, and that's it. You're cooked. You're done. You see them, you go, oh, I guess I'll check back later. And then you check back later and somebody's there. I guess I'll check back later. Well, what the PvP zones really open up, and this should be obvious to most, is you can go there, and if you see somebody there and you're like, fuck that, I want that zone, I want that camp, you can attempt to kill that person and take their camp. Now, doing this, you got to know that you're going to piss them off, right? So then they're going to come back, say you successfully kill them, and then you take the camp, they're likely going to come back and try to take it back from you. So now, now you have to watch your back, and I mean, it depends on your class, your gear, your skill level. All of those things are going to factor in, but maybe you don't care. Maybe there's no shot that they're going to kill you. So you're just sitting there free farming, and you're like, if they show back up, I'm just going to kill them again. It doesn't matter to me. Shoe fly or whatever. So there is that. But if it's a pretty even fight, or they come back with a buddy like, hey, this guy fucking killed me, friend of 10 years, let's go like gank him or whatever. You know what I mean? So, or just ask your guild like, hey, this guy killed me, let's go kill him. Stuff can happen. So then you have to start weighing things out. Like, is it worth my time? So, corpse runs are a real thing. Maybe you're a class that can bind, you could just bind nearby, and so your run's not that far. But if you're a melee class or whatever have you, and you get shot back to the Nexus or something like that, now you have to get a port, which might cost you money, and then you've got to like run your ass back there, or you got to wait 30 minutes for your body to pop out, whatever it is. Maybe you're going on that corpse retrieval. Maybe they're cool and let you get your corpse, or maybe they're not cool and they kill you again when you're trying to get your corpse. You never know. Especially if you guys are at war and it's not just a one and done, then they're going to kill you when you try to get your corpse, so like a second or third time, if they know you're going to fuck with them. They're not just going to let you get their corpse and have several even fights in a row. If you're just going to get your corpse and leave, sure, loot and scoot, as they say. But if you're going to fight them back, they're just going to kill you so that they can keep farming. Anyways, so is it worth your time? You're getting double the loot, so you're going from 2K loot to 4K loot, but is it worth your time if you have to like constantly watch your back, if you're, possibly dying and then you got to do corpse runs, if you're not killing as many mobs because you're wasting time PvPing, even if you're winning, you're still
winning. I win here and I win there. Now what? You're in the corner like, oh my God, it's all my mom's fault. Shut up. Shut up. Stop. Move forward.
You're still wasting time and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. These are things that you have to like weigh it out. Maybe the PvP aspect is just fun to you and you like to PvP. Then that could be worth something to you. It's not all about the money. It's not all about the XP. Maybe the PvP in itself is rewarding to you. So there's also that. Anyways, gonna be a short one, but with all of this, I think I laid the groundwork there. But so I had heard from some people, multiple sources. We've got some encounters with Zek in regards to the Wakening lands. So I have heard, and now this isn't my tale. I'm just telling the story. But I have heard that Zek has claimed, now, I just want to be upfront with that. This isn't my encounter. These are multiple sources telling me, and now I'm just telling you guys. So allegedly, Zek has said that nobody's going to be farming the Wakening lands PvP without paying them money per hour, basically. So the number can range, maybe, I don't know, maybe you can cut a deal with them, maybe you can haggle, maybe you can bargain, maybe you have some sort of faction with them. I don't know. But numbers that I've heard are like 500 plat an hour to farm the Geo Cave in the Wakening lands. So let's just break down the numbers that we spoke of earlier. Say you're my Beast Lord. You're making 2K in the PvE version. You go to the PvP version, you're making 4K. You give them their cut of 500 plat. That's what, 12.5%? Something like that. And So, well, that's still worth it, right? So you go from making 2,000 plat up to 3,500 plat. So you're still gaining, even though you're paying them the troll toll. You got to pay the troll toll to get into the cave hole. You got to pay the troll toll to get in.
Did you bring the toll? You gotta pay the troll toll. If you want to get into that boy's hole, you gotta pay the troll toll to get in.
Now, is that worth it to you, or are you selling out? So I don't know. I'm the type where I'm either A, down to try to fight back and say, no, let's fight. And, you know, I'm not against bringing friends. Like, let's bring like 2, 3, 4, full group, whatever it is, and maybe try to use a group to kill the cave, right? And that way you can split the loots, and then you can have the fun of PvP because they're gonna come to kill you. Now, obviously, they're a guild, so they could probably bring enough numbers to kill you. Maybe they don't need numbers. Maybe they can kill you with 3 or 4 people, whatever it is. But PvP can be fun, is what I'm getting at. Or I'm also the type to just not bend the knee. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, 3.5K is more than 2K by giving them the troll toll of 500 plat. But that just ain't me, man. I'm either going to take the L and take my, 37.5% decrease of what I can be getting by farming PvE version, or I'm going to try to fight back, or, you know what I mean? I'm going to do one of those two. I'm not going to bend the knee and pay. Now, some of you out there is like, that's just dumb. Just pay the 500 and make, 1,500 extra plat an hour. But something about that I just don't like. It's extortion is what it is. And I don't...
You pay now or tomorrow Simple Jack die.
Great. Let me get this down. 100 million. Oh, wait. I got a better idea. Instead of 100 million, how about I send you a hobo's dick cheese? In the meantime, and as usual, go fuck yourself.
No.
We don't negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's just how I feel, but some other people are maybe down. So anyways, I do go into the PvP zone sometimes on the Necro, and I just try to look at what's going on. Everybody's anonymous, so it's hard to tell who's who. You have to know their name and know what guild they're in and all that kind of stuff. But typically, like I said earlier, there's typically 10 plus people in the Wakening Lands PvE version. Now, not all of those are in the cave. Some of them are traveling here to there or doing whatever. And especially if a raid is going on, there might be an influx of people as they're preparing for the raid, for Plane of Growth or wherever. But a lot of those people do go into the cave. Now, when I slash the zone for the PvP version, typically there's only about 3 or 4 people in the PvP version. Now, I'm convinced, for obvious reasons, that all of those people are in the cave. Now, what guild are they in? What are they doing? I don't know. Like I said, sometimes I enter the zone and I see somebody, screaming and /yell or /OOC, and they're like, watch out, so-and-so's killing people. And it's like, yeah, I mean, what'd you expect? But yeah, okay. And so those are probably randos, just like myself, just showing up in the zone and being like, what's going on here? But some of those people might be paying Zach the 500 plat, is what I'm now wondering after hearing these accounts. So, and then I'm thinking, what if these people who are paying the troll toll, what if they, somebody else comes in there, right? Say I go in there on my Necro and I'm just like, what's going on here? Say this guy over here that's farming is paying the 500 plat an hour, and they see me. Who's to say that they don't run to Zach and be like, oh, Zach, there's a necromancer in here farming my mobs. Did they pay the troll toll? And Zach will be like, what? No, they're not on the payroll. And then they show up and then they, kill me or something like that. I could see them being little bitches like that. Not Zach. The type to pay the fee to free farm in there. I could see them, because they want all the mobs. They want as many mobs as possible. So if they see someone in there and they're just like, I don't know if this guy paid the toll. You know what I mean? They'll rat on you to get you killed and get you out of there. I could see some weird shenanigans like that. Anyways, this whole thing is just super interesting to me. I just wanted to put that out there because maybe it's interesting to you. That's super interesting to me, and it kind of makes me want to go in there and fool around. You know, it's kind of like an incentive. Like before, I was just like, if I go in there and I'm trying to get more money, I'll probably be PvPing. Which, the more you PvP, the less you're farming cash, and that's really the goal. For my goal is to farm cash. I don't really care about the PvP that much. But when there's like weird situations like this, that's more, you know, that gets me up, you know, that gets me hard, if you would, for some PvP action, stuff like that. So that's more of an incentive than the boost in cash itself, you know? So that kind of like, made me want to go in there. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but also have any of you guys gone into PvP? Maybe you've gone into PvP and you haven't even heard of anything that I just brought up. Maybe you're like, well, that's not happening. I haven't heard of that. Or maybe you've been approached by Zek and they're telling you to pay them off. You know, I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your accounts. So put them down in the comments if this stuff has happened to you. Because I'm super curious. I find it all like very curious. And I'm curious if any of you want to go in there now and just like start a ruckus, start some PvP, cause some commotion, you know? Now, Zek, as far as I know, Zek's not the ones farming it. They're just holding it hostage, if you would. Which isn't like breaking any rules or anything. If you want the benefits, if you want the prize of going in the PvP zone, you got to fight for it. And that's the point. That's the whole point. Don't get mad about it. Do something about it. Or don't. Or just ignore it and farm in the PvE version like I've been doing. I don't know. But hearing these little, like again, hearing these little tidbits from people, that's super interesting to me. I think it's hilarious. And kind of makes me want to go fool around. So anyways, I'll leave it there. A little bit longer than this is intended to be, but yeah, I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. Does this get you excited? Or have you been approached? Are you paying the troll toll? Let me know. I will see you in the next video.